Hello, everyone, and welcome to this new episode of Open Book Entrepreneur. We have Tini with us. Today, she's intuitive coach, and I think it's the best that maybe she introduces herself and her business to the audience.
Hello, thank you so much, Tony, for the invitation and for allowing me to introduce myself, which is something that I'm discovering every day, every moment, new ways to express what it is that I do. And that's cool because it I like change and I like transformation shifts. It's exciting. And so what it is that I do now is I help intuitive practitioners and healers articulate the value of their work, of their gifts. Their work usually produces a variety of results, and it's not always easy to talk about that because we tend to we as intuitives, we tend to try to put our gifts in a box and try to talk about it as this is one result that I help you achieve. And then when in a session, then we realize, oh, wait, but this person got a completely different result than what we initially set out to do. And then you think, oh, maybe I should talk about this other result. But the point is to talk about all of them one at a time to showcase how intuitive guidance adapts and produces the variety of results.
Totally, yeah. I mean, on top of that, so what inspired you to actually start this business?
It's a really cool evolution, but I'll go with the most recent one. I used to develop courses for quite a few years, and I wasn't covering the tech, the platforms, the pricing, the sales, the marketing. I was only covering the content, making sure that people got something out of the course right from the start, that it wasn't overwhelming, but the course was still satisfying and powerful and enriching. And it also brought awareness to the results that people got. And that was basically the same work that I do now, but it's just in a different context. So when someone works with me now, they no longer walk away with a course, but they do walk away with the benefits, the examples, the results that could potentially at some point make a course, but that also help them show, hey, this is what it's like to work with me.
Yeah, great. And what's the plan or your goal for the next 1 year for your business?
That's a very interesting question because I never set these big goals for myself, especially not long term, because I like to work short term on short term projects. That's what I have discovered works very well for me. And I also like to change and adapt depending on what I see is needed. Um, Even this thing that I'm doing now is based on months of research and having had conversations with others and seeing what is needed that my skills can help with. And I'm also moving and physically from where I'm at. We're moving in 2 weeks. And when I say we, my husband and I, um, and I have no idea where we're going next. And that's exciting and scary at the same time.
Nice. Yeah, absolutely. That's really interesting how you actually mentioned you're never setting up the goals because some people are actually sprinters, some people are running marathons and things like that. So, yeah, people have different sort of attitudes towards goals and stuff. I like to sort of ask people that question because I believe that obviously having goal sometimes uh, gives you like a long-term direction, obviously, but yeah, I understand that. I set up some goals in the past where, I actually achieved them and it was like wonderful and stuff like that. At other points, I set up goals that I didn't achieve as well. So, and then, after a while, you sort of stop setting up goals because it's more about, where you are guided. Yeah. So something that we were talking about guidance as well was before we started recording this episode. So can you tell us a little bit more about that? That sounds interesting because obviously it looks like you're a free spirit and you like to sort of take a day at a time or certain little amount of time and move forward. So can you tell us a little bit more about those guidances that you mentioned?
Um, One thing that comes up is something that was shared with me recently about taking it one step at a time, as in the destination is always one step away because we only go one step at a time.
Yeah.
And that just helped me see things differently because it's true. And it's about the journey. I think even when you were talking about goals, I think that's the point. We set goals, but we then enjoy the journey one step at a time. The goal is just sort of like an excuse to just, hey, relax, you know where you're going, just take it one step at a time.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, there are different people looking differently in this, so it can be like a sort of philosophical discussion, which one is better to have goals or not to have goals, or because also people are sort of thinking about the past a lot, thinking about the future, in business and in personal lives and everything. And then at the end of the day, the only moment we have is right now,
Yes,
you know.
so true.
Yeah.
And I wanted to say that it's not necessarily a good or bad thing, or this is because we're all different. And setting goals in the traditional way doesn't work for me because I tend to, let's say, get bored, or I see something else and I want to try that, and I get excited and lit up by that, and I want to honor that guidance that comes up because I've been ignoring it for 3 decades or more. But also, I want to acknowledge the people who do set these types of goals and follow through. There's a friend of mine and business bestie who is training for a Spartan race. And I feel so inspired and motivated by how she managed to set this goal and go through with it.
Yeah, definitely. I work with a lot of business owners and entrepreneurs and coaches, and I really see like when people have goals, it helps them. It helps them as well. But then again, when people are sort of using just intuition and stuff, that's an interesting subject because it reminds me of this like. Exactly like you said, when we have goals, we're very clear on, oh, yeah, we have the direction, we can relax and everything else. We know where we are and where we want to be in the future. But then also, sometimes I remember like when I was scuba diving in Egypt, and we were going from one reef to another reef, and we were just going to the blue. And at that moment, in time, there was only blue around us, and we didn't have any point of reference wherever to where we are, and it was so scary. But then when we went through it and found this other reef, it was wonderful to actually experience this, that sort of we went through that experience. But it seems a little bit like being in space, not knowing where we are, and that's interesting that you're running a business in that way, and that you're sort of like uh, guided to the next step, so can you tell us a little bit more about like how do you help your clients with this?
So I do believe that structure is important. My brain also likes to identify the structure, the flow, the steps, and how everything is connected. Um, that's how I help because I'm not only relying on the intuition, I also reflect back these steps and benefits and how everything is connected because then when you see the value that your services bring to the world, um, even if someone sits down with you and just has a 10-minute conversation, and then you can talk about what it is that shifted in those 10 minutes, then you're able to share that. You don't have to convince others to or to make your work seem something that it's not, or to try to channel a more structured type of person. Because if you like to flow and you just like to express things in the way that they come to you, because I mean, we're all in a way channeling, 'cause even in conversations, it's not like we have a plan for it. We don't have a plan for this conversation, but we trust it because it comes from something that feels true. And I think that's what the essence of my work is. We look at what is true about your work and how it produces results, even if those tend to be different um, depending on the person.
Totally. And if someone wants to actually find out a little bit more about you or connect to you, how they can do that?
I'm currently more active on Facebook. I'm also available on LinkedIn for conversations and Messenger. I don't post there actively. And I also have a Substack where I intuitively share when the time is right. I share what happens in sessions with me, examples, frameworks that come up from sessions to help others put together short case studies or examples of their work. So that's how people can find me.
Excellent. Yeah. And if there is any questions that I maybe didn't ask you, and maybe some knowledge, some tips that you want to share intuitively, what would that be?
I think one of the things that comes up is that it's okay. I mean, everything is valid to some point, um, but just to not try to force what wants to be expansive into just one single um, title, one single sentence, one single word, or one single way to describe what it is that we do, to embrace the variety and to know that what makes work specific is just talking about it one moment at a time, one step at a time, like we were talking about.
Totally. Yeah. Thank you so much, Tini, for being a guest today. Thank you all for watching and listening to this episode. If you liked it, drop us a like, subscribe, and also share it with your friends and family. And we'll see you all in the next episode. All the best and bye bye.